Hi, in this video, we're going to take a look at router on a stick. Okay, so in this case, take a look in this scenario. We don't have separate links between the switch and the router for every VLAN. Matter of fact, we have a trunk link. Okay, so actually we can use this trunk link for routing multiple VLANs between our switching domain and the router. So let's take a look at how this works. All right, so in this case, the switch 1 is going to forward it to router R1 via its trunk link, and R1 is going to forward the traffic back on that same interface back to S1. Okay, so the big advantage here is that we don't have to have a separate physical link between the switch 1 and router 1 for every VLAN or every subnet. We can actually use a trunk link to do this. And we're actually going to use something called sub-interfaces on the router to do this. Okay, and each sub-interface will be configured with a separate IP address for the VLAN it represents. All right, and those IP addresses on the router sub-interfaces will be the default gateway address for the devices. Okay. So as we will see here in a moment, that these sub-interface addresses, on the router, these will be the default gateway addresses for devices on those VLANs, VLANs 10, 20, and 30. All right, so let's take a look here. So switch 1, we're going to configure this as a, let's see, switch S1 here. We're going to configure VLANs 10 and VLANs 30. Again, we don't have to do this. By the way, VLAN 10 created VLAN 10, and I could have given it a name. Then I just said VLAN 30, although I'm in VLAN sub-configuration mode, and it just created another VLAN called 30. Neither one has a name associated with it. Okay, so on FA011, I say switch port access VLAN 10, and I don't think I did it. No, Rick, I should also do my switch port. Excuse me 1 second here, I'll write it, switch port mode access, do that on, sorry, I'm writing real fast here. Okay, should do that on every interface. That's not a trunk link. Okay, all right. Okay, FA06, same thing with the switch port access VLAN 30. Switch port mode access would be the other command I should use. Okay, so on fast Ethernet 05 though, that's going to be my trunk link. Okay, by default, I'm trunking for all VLANs. Okay, on the router, interface gig 0/0, and this is how I create my sub-interface, dot, and I can give it any sub-interface number. Best practice, associate this with the VLAN. Okay. So, encapsulation .1Q, says that's what we're using for our encapsulation. And here you can see we've associated this sub-interface with the IPv4 address associated with VLAN 10 or the 172.17.10.0 subnet. Okay, do the same thing for gig 0, same physical interface, gig 00, but .30 is the sub-interface. .1Q 30, so this is where we associate which VLAN we're using. .1Q is the encapsulation, 30 is the VLAN associated with this IPv4 address. Okay, so this is the VLAN, this is the IP address associated with that VLAN. VLAN and the IP address associated with that VLAN. Okay, now the physical interface, all we need to do is a no shutdown. Okay, we don't assign the IP address to the physical interface. Okay, do a show VLANs on R1 and notice some interesting information here. Okay, it's telling us that its VLAN trunk interface gives us our sub interfaces. here, and here. Okay. Also tells me what VLAN they're associated with and the IP address associated with it. All right, and any packets received and transmitted on those interfaces, sub-interfaces, I should say. Okay, they act just like physical interfaces. Okay, show IP route. Okay, you'll just see the only difference here is, again, the sub-interfaces. Okay, pretty cool stuff, huh? Okay, and that's it for router on a stick. It really is that easy.